Very good morning, children. Welcome to the online education of class 7 science. So dear students, in the previous class I started the lesson physical and chemical changes. So in the previous class I explained about the definition of chemical change and its properties and different examples of chemical change. So dear students, today let us go ahead with the next concept, that is one more example of chemical change, that is rusting of iron. So let us study in detail about rusting of iron. Okay, so already in the introduction part we have studied the example for a chemical change. The most common example is rusting of iron. Okay, so the process of accumulation of a brownish layer on the surface of iron articles is called rust, and the process is called rusting. Okay, so this is one of the change that affects the iron articles, the materials which are made of iron, so they get affected due to the change. Which kind of change? Chemical change. So due to this is one of the change. So due to this the iron articles are affected and slowly they get damaged, slowly they get destroyed due to the affection of this rusting process. Okay, so since iron is used in many materials, preparation of many materials, for example in making bridges iron articles are used. Okay, in ships, cars and truck bodies, bodybuilding. Okay, so in many other articles in our day-to-day life, what we are using, automobile industry, whatever the industry you take, so there is an use of iron articles. So there is a huge loss due to the rusting process of iron. So then how do we prevent it? So before we know that the process of preventing the rusting of iron, so let me explain you the general equation or the process of rusting. It can be represented by the following equation. How rusting process is going to take place. So chemically it is given with the equation. So let us look at the equation here. So here we know that iron, so we write the symbol for that ferrous, Fe. Okay, plus oxygen represented by O2, okay, which is present in the air. From the air we get it, oxygen, plus water we represent through H2O. So when iron reacts with or combines with oxygen and water, so oxygen present in the air and also water, so there is a formation of rust. The chemical name of rust is iron oxide or ferric oxide, we say Fe2O3. So commonly we call it as rust, but the chemical name of it is ferrous oxide or iron oxide we call. Okay, so by this what we understand, tell me. So the rusting process, for the process of rusting, two things are essential, that is the presence of oxygen as well as water. So the presence of both oxygen and water is very much essential for rusting process, without which the rusting cannot take place. So in fact the content of moisture, if it is more in the air suppose, or the contents of moisture or water content, if it is more very high in the air, then automatically it will have more humid nature. Okay, it will be, we call it as humid nature. So if the content of moisture in the air is high, means we call it as humid. If there is more humid in the atmosphere, then the process of rusting becomes very faster. The rusting process will be faster. So now how do we prevent the rusting then? So the best method is that, so we can prevent the iron articles from rusting just from coming in contact with the water as well as oxygen present in the air. So we can prevent the iron articles from rusting by avoiding from the coming in contact with the oxygen as well as water or both. Okay, so this prevents the rusting process. And there is one more simple way, is to apply a coat of paint. Any coat of paint you can apply on the iron articles, or a grease coat can also be applied. So this reduces the rusting. But keep it in mind that, so it should be applied. So these coats of iron, coats of paint or grease should be applied regularly. Okay, without miss. Regularly means 6 months once in a 6 month, once in a year they should be applied regularly to prevent from rusting. Okay, so there is another way to prevent the rusting, that is there is a ways, that is deposition of layer of zinc or chromium. So you have to deposit a layer of metals like a zinc or chromium on iron articles. Okay, so this process of depositing a layer of zinc on iron is called galvanization. Remember the definition here one more time, I'll repeat here. So that this process of deposition of zinc layer on iron articles or iron surface is called galvanization. Okay, so usually you have seen, so in a village, to supply the water to the air tank to different areas of the village or a city, so iron pipes are used. So these iron pipes which are used to supply the water to our homes, to carry the water, so they are galvanized to avoid from rusting, to prevent from rusting, or else they get rusted very within 3-4 months, right? So that's why they will be galvanized with a layer of zinc. Okay, so already we know that the ships, in the construction of ships also the iron materials are used. Okay, so you know that, so almost half part of the iron ship, it will be under the water only. So just you think of it now, the rusting process will be faster because oxygen is present in the air, water is almost half part of the ship is under the water, so automatically there is a chance of getting what, rusting. So remaining part of the ship is above the water, right? But still some drops of water keep clinging in the outer surface of the what, ship. So that's why one more thing you kept in mind, the water of the sea, so it is contains more salts, dissolved salts. So the salt water makes the process of rusting more faster. The process of rust formation is faster for the salty water. Hence the ships suffer a lot of damage due to the rusting of what, these iron particles which are used for making the ship. So hence, so the painting of ship is hardly very difficult for them. So hence what they need to do, every time they have to replace some part of the ship, okay, with a new iron article. Okay, so that should be old one, the rusted part should be replaced with again a piece of iron material. So hence there will be huge damage for the ship owners. Okay, so that's how the rusting process cause a great damage for the ship builders. Okay, so dear students, in the today's class you have understood the chemical equation of rusting of iron, its definition, and how can we prevent the rusting of iron. So dear students, I hope you have understood today's concept, and tomorrow let's go for the last part of this physical and chemical change, that is crystallization. Okay, so dear students, read well this concept and write the chemical equation. Thank you and have a nice day.